Hey cricketers, welcome to today's video. I have an exciting video for all of you beginners out there. We're diving into the world of cricket machines and sharing some valuable tips and tricks to help you get started on your cricket journey. So if you're new to cricket, thinking about getting one, or just looking to brush up on your skills, this Cricket Beginner's Guide is for you. Let's get started. Tip 1. Understanding your cricket machine. The first tip I have for you is to get to know your cricket machine. Cricket is always coming out with new machines with more new and improved features than before. Take some time to read the user manual specific to your model. This will help you understand the basic functions and features of your specific cricket model. There are a lot of different models available, like the Cricket Venture, Cricket Maker 3, Cricket Explorer Air 2, Cricket Explorer 3, Cricket Joy, and Cricket Joy Extra. If you're in the market for a new cricket machine and you're not sure which one to buy, check out this video on my channel about which cricket should I buy in 2023. I discuss all of the different models and explain the differences, pros, cons, prices, and more. This video was just uploaded, so it includes all of their brand new machines. Tip 2. Maintenance. Keep your cricket machine clean and free from dust and debris by regularly wiping it down. I like to keep a can of condensed air nearby to make it easy to clean in those hard-to-reach places. Pay attention to the cutting blade, making sure it remains sharp. Sharp blades are essential for clean cuts. Replacing your blade is a small investment that makes a big difference in your crafting results. Check out this video to learn more about my favorite blades for the cheapest price. I can always tell when my blades need to be changed because my vinyl becomes difficult to cut and weed. A lot of people think that stabbing your blade into a ball of vinyl will sharpen your blade. This is actually not true. The blades are stronger than aluminum, so it's impossible for aluminum to sharpen your blades. However, this technique is good for keeping the blades clean because it helps get off any sticky residue from vinyl left behind. Mats are a sticky surface used to hold your vinyl in place when cutting with your cricket. After a while, they get full of lint, pet hair, dust, and debris, which makes them lose their stickiness. Always put your protective cover back on your mats when they're not in use. I store my mats hanging flat on the wall. Mats are something that need to be replaced over time. Some people try to clean and restore their mats with scraper tools, soap, water, wet wipes, or adhesive sprays. I usually just buy new mats. They're pretty cheap, and having good, clean materials makes all the difference. Additionally, store your materials in a cool and dry place to prevent warping or damage. Tip 3. Cricut Design Space software. Cricut Design Space is where the magic happens. It's the software you'll use to create and customize all of your Cricut projects. If you don't know how to use Cricut Design Space, you won't know how to use your Cricut. Watch lots of tutorials like mine on YouTube. On my channel, I walk you through all the steps in Design Space in every one of my Cricut tutorials. You don't need to have a Cricut machine to start playing around with the software either. You can go to design.cricut.com and download the software for free. You only need to pay if you want to have Cricut Access, which is their library of fonts and graphics. Tip 4. Start with simple projects. Experiment with basic designs and gradually work your way up to more complex ones. When you're just starting out, it's tempting to jump into intricate designs, but it's better to start with simple projects. This was the biggest mistake that I made when I first started out. For my first project ever, I tried to convert a photo into an SVG and cut it on my Cricut. This is not the kind of project you'll want to start out with. You'll get frustrated and overwhelmed, and that's not how you want to start out your Cricut journey. Start with some basic materials like vinyl or cardstock using simple shapes like hearts, squares, and circles. This will help you gain confidence. As you become more comfortable, you can explore other materials like fabric, leather, or even wood depending on your Cricut machine. If you want to learn how to convert a photo or handwriting into an SVG, I do have videos to teach you how to do that on my channel. Just start with a few easier projects first. Tip 5. Material matters. Don't cheap out and buy the cheapest brands of vinyl and heat transfer vinyls you can find, especially when starting out. Vinyl from the Dollar Tree is a lot harder to work with than a high-quality vinyl like Oracle 651. Cheap vinyls will also be harder to weed and more likely to peel off than good vinyls. The same goes for transfer tape. Some people will use Dollar Tree contact paper as transfer tape, which is a horrible idea for beginners. It barely sticks to the vinyl, and pieces of your design may slide around on the tape. Buy a good brand of transfer tape so your vinyl transfers seamlessly. Just like anything in life, you get what you pay for. I'll leave a link in my video description to all of my favorite Cricut crafting materials, tools, and accessories. I've been cricketing for over 5 years now, so I have a good idea of what works well and what doesn't. Cricut machines can cut hundreds of different materials depending on the model. It's important to learn what materials you can use with your specific Cricut model and what blades to use. Different blades and settings are required for various materials such as vinyl, cardstock, fabric, and more. Make sure you set your project material in Cricut Design Space to match the material on your mat. Check the Cricut Material Guide to make sure you're using the right settings for your project. Tip number 6, weeding and transfer tape. Weeding is the process of removing excess material from your cut design, and transfer tape helps you transfer the design onto your project surface. These may sound intimidating at first, but with practice, you'll become a pro. I actually find weeding to be kind of therapeutic. The biggest thing is to go slow, be patient, and take your time. You might be tempted to peel off that vinyl in one quick pull, but this is when you'll lose the small details like a dot to your eye. I can't tell you how many dots to my eyes I've lost by rushing. Like I mentioned a moment ago, buy good transfer tape. Transfer tape is one of the most important materials you'll use when working with vinyl. Make sure you clean your blanks before transferring your vinyl too. I always use rubbing alcohol and a lint-free wipe. One of my favorite Cricut hacks of all time is to use a coffee filter as a lint-free wipe. They're cheap, the perfect size, and don't leave any residue behind like with paper towels. Also, take some time to learn different weeding techniques like reverse weeding. This is when you stick the whole design to the transfer tape, peel off the backing, and then weed from the transfer tape. This technique is best when working with small, intricate designs. Tip 7, mat and material placement. Make sure your material is securely placed by sticking it in the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Make sure you're using the right type of mat for the material that you're working with. For example, if you're working with a delicate material like paper, you'll want to use a blue light grip mat. If you try to stick paper to a purple strong grip mat, it will rip up your project and you'll have paper stuck all over your mat. On the flip side, if you try to put a strong material like glitter heat transfer vinyl onto a light grip mat, it won't stick or cut. If you want to learn more about which type of Cricut mats to use for each type of material, check out this video on my channel. Also, make sure that the mat is correctly loaded into the machine. You have to slide the mat under the 2 tabs and then push the blinking double arrow to load it. You can also rearrange your designs on your mat in Cricut Design Space in one of the final steps after clicking Make It. This will help you save space and materials. Tip number 8, calibration and testing. Don't forget to calibrate your machine periodically. Calibration helps maintain accuracy in your cuts. It's important when you're using features like print and cut. If you want to learn how to calibrate your machine, check out this little Cricut short I made. I have a bunch of beginner Cricut tip shorts on my channel, so make sure you've subscribed if you want to see more of my helpful content. Also, always do a test cut when working with new materials. I usually cut a small 1/2-inch star to ensure my settings are right. Once you know that it cuts right, then cut your full, bigger design. This will help save you time and wasted materials. Tip number 9, explore Cricut community. The best way to learn more about Cricut is by joining Cricut communities. Join online forums, Facebook groups, or follow Cricut enthusiasts like myself on social media. I have found so many cool Cricut project ideas in Facebook groups. I have a group on Facebook called Cricut From Beginner to Business by Cricketer. There's over 87,000 members in there to help answer any questions you may have. You can make new friends, learn new projects, and ask questions. I'd love it if you join through the link down below in my video description. Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok are also fantastic sources for Cricut craft ideas. Tip 10, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learning and improving is all part of the process. 5 years in, and I still make mistakes all the time, especially when I try to drink wine and Cricut at the same time. Keep experimenting, try new things, and don't get discouraged if things don't turn out exactly as planned. Try to have fun, be creative, and enjoy the journey. And there you have it, our beginner's guide to Cricut machines. I hope that these tips and tricks help you kickstart your Cricut crafting journey. Remember, practice, patience, and a little bit of creativity go a long way in the world of Cricut. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Cricut tutorials and inspiration. Drop a comment down below if you have any other helpful tips that I may have forgot to mention. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!